Welcome back to Old School Sports and episode number 15 of our series with Pro Wrestling Sim. Want to start off the episode by thanking our small but very loyal fan base. Appreciate the feedback and appreciate everyone who is joining us on this still relatively new adventure. If you are new to the channel and you haven't subscribed, would appreciate that. And if you are one of the people who does happen to be watching, certainly appreciate if you'd give the episode a thumbs up if you're enjoying it, and leave us a comment to let you know what we're thinking, so hopefully we can find some more viewers with this new journey that we are on. Mentioned at the end of the last episode that the opening up of TV contracts, both pay-per-view and television contracts, a couple of months ago has paid massive dividends for us in terms of our finances. Very strong financial position to where we started this game as we built ourselves up from a local promotion to a regional promotion and now a cult promotion. And expecting the financial situation to continue to improve going forward. Since the last episode, although we haven't actually moved forward, we have added to our roster a few new wrestlers that we've brought on board that we will talk about. We do have the ability now to sign wrestlers to exclusive written contracts, and we have done that with Garrett Carter. We didn't do that with any of the new wrestlers that we brought on board, and we actually only did 180-day pay-per-appearance contracts with them. Not that we won't consider signing them to a more lucrative and longer and exclusive contract with us, but given that backstage morale has been volatile over the last couple of years of this series, and largely driven by personalities who have had some issues with one another or just generally been negative influences in the locker room and backstage, figured we would have about 6 months with these new wrestlers and just make sure that there are no significant quirks in how they interact with others. So as I mentioned, 3 new wrestlers that we're going to give an opportunity to try out over the next 180 days or so and then possibly sign to longer-term contracts. One is Bowen White. Had him join as a lower mid-card face for us. Really good in terms of his entertainment value and his star power. He's not particularly skilled as a wrestler. I do think that with his personality, he should hopefully fit in reasonably well. Somebody that we can potentially build around going forward. $150 per appearance, so not particularly expensive for us, period, and certainly not that expensive for us given the big, strong finances that we've had recently. Another new addition is Daniel Schwartz. I think he could really be interesting for us. I had him join as an upper mid-card heel. Good wrestling skill, good entertainment value, good star power, really good stamina. Think that he could be an interesting person for us. Much more expensive at $1,500 for appearance. Again, don't think there's anything in his personality that's going to cause problems, but being conservative, wanted to ensure that he actually fits in well with everybody else before we potentially sign him to a longer deal. And similar story with Jaden Noble, the strongest wrestler of the group, big star power, not quite as strong an entertainer perhaps. A lot of different personality traits, is outspoken, sensitive. Think he'll ultimately probably fit in well as well. We have him as an upper mid-card face. Gimmick is his athleticism, given his strong wrestling skill. And he's going to be $1,100 per appearance as a pay-per-appearance wrestler. So definitely adding some higher-end talent into the mix here that we hope we can continue building on. Jaden Noble, as you can see, already has 50 popularity in North America. So if we look at the table view of our pool of wrestlers, he is already the fourth most popular in North America of anyone associated with the wild world of wrestling. So certainly will be someone we hope to build around going forward. And Daniel Schwartz, as our sixth most popular wrestler, is not too far behind. So hopefully those two additions will work out well for us. And then Bowen White may be somebody that we can grow with over the years. And last episode, we did talk about the fact that signing Garrett Carter to a written contract would enable us to sell merchandise associated with him. We do have our recent results for the last month, and we are finally selling a little bit of merchandise away from Ricky Babylon. But the $200 in Garrett Carter merchandise that was sold last month certainly does not do much in terms of paying for that relatively expensive contract that we have for Garrett Carter, which stands, of course, at $32,500 a month at this point. That also was a relatively short extension that we signed him to, just to see how the first written contract worked out and to ensure that our finances were heading in the right direction. Don't anticipate that there's going to be any issues there, but we'll see whether or not that's the case going forward. We also are tentatively starting a new storyline involving some new additions to the wrestling pool. Bowen White, Daniel Schwartz, and Jaden Noble. And then Ansley Howard, I believe we talked about her in the last episode, joined us a little earlier than those other two wrestlers as another heel among the women wrestlers that we have, and certainly hoping that additional publicity and marketing of these four new wrestlers through that storyline, and hopefully through some interesting angles that we'll be working on in upcoming shows will help boost the popularity of all four of those new wrestlers for us going forward. 4th of July Blast, big event for us coming up in just a couple of days. Going to be introducing Jaden Noble, as well as Ansley Howard, Daniel Schwartz, and Bowen White. Basically, pre-show angle involving Ricky Babylon and the four new wrestlers. When we think about our feature match, the Dream Team, Ricky Babylon and his, I guess at this point now, somewhat more experienced partner Julius Dyer will be defending their men's tag team championship against the Demolition Squad. And with the addition of those new wrestlers that I've talked about, we've also started a few new tag teams, which we'll be seeing in some of the upcoming shows. The fact that Colby Tyler is going to be injured for an extended period of time meant that we needed another partner for Colby Hendricks, and you can see he's going to be teaming up with Bowen White, the very creative name of Hendricks and White for those two. And one of our new wrestlers, the women's wrestler Ansley Howard, thinks that the time has come to give her a championship, and she wants a title win before January 2nd. Given that she's been with us literally for a matter of weeks, I'm going to reject that demand from her. Probably will not be happy with it, but have to maintain some degree of standards. And it looks like Kason Hughes has signed an exclusive contract with MVW worth under 5 figures a month. He's been a sometime champion wrestler with us, so we can renegotiate to a written contract with him if we want. That's something that we'll have to give some thought to. Mention that we've got some new tag teams involved, but Kason Hughes and Jordan Cunningham, the Head Knockers, one of the most experienced tag teams we have with 61 matches together. In fact, they may actually be the most experienced tag team we have. Yeah, by far, 61 matches together for the Head Knockers, Kason Hughes and Jordan Cunningham, C-Squared, Colby Hendricks and Colby Tyler, which, as we mentioned, is a team that's not going to be wrestling together anytime soon because of the injury to Colby Tyler, second with 52 matches together. So would be a bit of a loss if we do end up moving on from Kason Hughes, but opportunity to perhaps make him the second person that we've locked up to with a long-term contract if we decide over the next couple of weeks that we want to move in that direction. And as we're getting ready for the 4th of July blast, Corey McKee wants a title match between now and September. That is something that definitely can be arranged. We could certainly, probably not going to have him fighting Ricky Babylon for the men's singles championship, but Mayhem, Xander Berry, and Corey McKee are a team that has a lot of experience wrestling with one another, and we could certainly give those guys a tag team championship opportunity over the next 3 months. So we will accept the promise there from Corey McKee and move on to the first big event of the month for us, the 4th of July Blast. Expected to sell about 4,100 tickets for it and get this party started here. Good reaction to the angle, introducing some of the new wrestlers by having contract signing with all of them. First match of the day, Xander Berry versus Valentino Ballard, and Xander Berry with the victory. Anastasia Romero and Ansley Howard. Anastasia Romero, more experienced, at least in our promotion, in terms of her wrestling, gets the win over the relative newcomer. Although positively, Ansley Howard is riding a wave of momentum, even though I'm sure she's disappointed that I refused to give her a title. Corey McKee injured 12 minutes into the match. We will cut to the finish. This certainly could impact his opportunity to get that title chance over the next few months. Jaden Noble, the newcomer, gets the win over Corey McKee. A little bit of momentum coming out of the match for Noble. Good score, 75% match quality, 3 stars, and a nice rating for us. So definitely a disappointing setback for Corey McKee. Experiencing that loss to Jaden Noble in his first match with the Wild World of Wrestling promotion. A new tag team for us gets a win in their first match. Mentioned that Daniel Schwartz, pretty talented wrestler who just joined us, and him and Garrett Carter are known as the Dread Duo, going up against the new team, Hendricks and White, with the addition of Bowen White. Unfortunately, Colby Hendricks and Bowen White have terrible chemistry as a team, so perhaps that is not a tag team that we will have going forward, but a couple of our newcomers involved in this tag team match. Garrett Carter we're much more willing to use now that we've got him signed to that exclusive contract than in the past when everybody was on a pay-per-appearance contract, and he was by far the most expensive PPA wrestler that we had in the promotion. Another singles match, Ryan Mooney over Marvin McNeil. Unfortunately, these two apparently have bad chemistry as opponents, so we'll have to avoid a matchup between the two of them going forward. Still a decent final score. And last, but hopefully not least, the Men's Tag Team Championship and the Dream Team, Ricky Babylon and Julius Dyer, defend their title against Elias David and Malcolm McKnight. We had promised McKnight a title opportunity some time back, so this was the title opportunity that he was hoping for. Decent match quality and a pretty solid match score for us there. Angle following the show, a video trying to get the crowd pumped up and excited about some of our storylines for the future. Good production quality and very well received. And then interview of Babylon, Lester, and Dyer about their match against Malcolm McKnight and Elias David. A solid score there as well. 60% score for us. You may remember this is the first show that we've got potential to get to 60. Wasn't too long ago that 50 was our cap, but we've made some investments in video production equipment and other facility improvements recently, and the highest score rating that we've ever picked up could have been an 80 with higher production values, so definitely feeling like we're moving in a better and better direction here in the wild world of wrestling promotion every day. Taking a look at the mail, obviously we know that McKee was hurt. We did put the 4th of July blast on Xfinite Box Office North America, over $200,000 on the pay-per-view event. Did sell over 4,000 tickets. Promise to Malcolm McKnight was successful, so that was positive as well. 3W Live in July coming up in 8 days, and then we're going to need to ultimately make that decision on Case and Hughes. Honestly, we'll probably, if we're going to make him an offer, do it a little bit earlier than that, just to give him time to think about things and potentially negotiate if we need to do that. And checking in on that injury to Corey McKee, and it's a pretty serious one. It's going to keep him out for about 10 months until May of 2025. Going to honestly have to seriously think about whether we just want to move on from him. It's only a pay-per-appearance contract at this point. He's not a critically important wrestler to us. Sounds heartless, and we certainly have the money where we don't need to be as stingy as perhaps that we have been in the past, but still definitely something to consider. But with that injury to him that even if he sticks with us is going to cost him the rest of this year, I think that maybe makes it more likely we sign Case and Hughes just to keep him around. Is a reasonably talented wrestler, slowly improving his popularity, but steadily with us. As I mentioned, they are two-time men's tag team champions with his partnership with Jordan Cunningham. 4-9 record this year, so he's not necessarily the most successful wrestler we have. But the money that he's looking for is not crazy, and over his career, a 49-30 record, even though the record has not been quite as good this year. Good relationship with me, good relationship with the announcer, Cullen Richardson, who's part of our promotion. Negative relationship with Isabella Baxter, who's one of our women's wrestlers, so that's not necessarily ideal. But with the relatively low money that Case and Hughes is looking for, $5,000 a month and a $5,000 signing bonus, I think we try to keep him around. We're going to just give him a $100 appearance fee here and see if we can save a little money. $4,500 a month. We will give him the $5,000 he wants for the signing bonus. So cutting the appearance fee back by $20, or $22, which is not incredibly significant in the whole scheme of things, but I'm incapable of not trying to negotiate with these fictional wrestlers and get myself a slightly bit better deal. We'll go ahead and make an offer to him, and he is going to consider becoming the third person to sign a written contract with the Wild World of Wrestling promotion, behind Ricky Babylon, who owns the promotion, and Garrett Carter, who was actually the first one that we actively signed a contract with. And Juan Shepard has been offered a contract by IAW. Kason Hughes willing to accept our offer there. So we are going to go ahead and finalize the contract to keep Kason Hughes on board for one more year at this point. Jordan Cunningham wants to be in the main event of the show. We'll certainly give Cunningham and the now freshly signed Hughes an opportunity to perhaps be in the main event, maybe competing for the tag team title against the Dream Team sometime in the not too distant future. And a lot of requests coming our way of late. Ryan Mooney wants a title match request. We will certainly provide that to him. He's certainly one of the more talented heel wrestlers that we brought on board over the last year or so, and we'll figure out a way to either get him an opportunity in a tag team match or perhaps even facing Ricky Babylon for the men's championship. And Julius Dyer, now that he's part of the men's tag team championship team with Ricky Babylon, feeling quite confident in himself, more than doubles his booking fee to $605 per appearance. We can certainly afford that now, as you know, but definitely the expense is getting higher and higher. Juan Shepard, as we talked about, does have a contract expiration coming up. He, with Ryan Mooney, has been a successful tag team for us since those two joined, I think, around the same time. Not looking for crazy money either, and he is a very talented wrestler. Wrestling skill is solid, good entertainment score, lots of stamina, solid star power. Not incredibly popular yet, but definitely somebody with his skills that we can build around. So we are going to try to continue our relationship with him as well. We'll give him similar money to what we had offered to Kason. Try to save a little bit on the signing bonus here, and his demands were actually a little bit higher, so not sure exactly how this will go over. We'll also see if we can make this a 2-year deal and really try to build around him for what might become a bargain cost for us. Says that he's willing to consider the offer, so we'll see what we hear. And Juan Shepard willing to accept that 2-year contract offer, so we are going to go ahead, finalize the contract with him. So we're getting more and more people on the roster signed to written contracts at this point. Although I guess those contracts to both Hughes and Shepard don't technically kick in until their old contracts expire. But good to have some more wrestlers on board joining the stable. Hopefully we can build them up and get some good merch sales as we make them more and more popular. Certainly think we'll start focusing more and more of our storylines on the wrestlers who are signed to exclusive contracts with us. Garrett Carter, Ricky Babylon, and now Juan Shepard all have active storylines at this point. Perhaps we'll work on something with Kason Hughes also in the not too distant future. But right now, the focus is on our big event for the month of July, 3W Live in July. Atmosphere backstage remains great. Couple of championship matches today. The women's tag team champions, the Nasty Girls, going to try to defend their title against the American Girls. And Ricky Babylon will be putting his men's championship on the line against Kyle Howard. Ansley Howard does get a victory in her first match over Marissa Wynn. Nasty Girls and the American Girls, Alani Hernandez and Kirsten Holloway, successfully retain their title. They continue to have good chemistry with one another. Edward Grant with a win over Rodrigo Schmidt in a match of a couple of our mid-card type wrestlers, although Edward Grant, relatively recent signing to the promotion, is someone who we do think has some potential. The Good Guys versus the Head Knockers, and the Head Knockers, Kason Hughes and Jordan Cunningham, a couple of wrestlers that we've been talking about recently, get the victory. Very good match quality of 80%, helps boost the final score to 65%. Yates and Horn have incredible chemistry as a team, but the win went to Kason Hughes and Jordan Cunningham. Garrett Carter against Julius Dyer. Garrett Carter with the victory. Another tag team match, the M&M Boys versus the New Kids on the Block, and Ryan Mooney and the recently signed Juan Shepard, the New Kids on the Block, former tag team champions, get a win. Perhaps they'll be getting an opportunity to wrestle for the title again soon. You may remember we have offered or agreed to give Ryan Moody a title shot. And speaking of title shots, Ricky Babylon retains his title over Kyle Howard. Good score from that match. Rousing score for the video, trying to give a boost to a number of the storylines that we've got going. So a pretty successful show here. 60%, could have gotten up to 73 if we had gotten better production values, and with the money that we think we're going to continue raking in, probably we'll look to up our production again at the end of this month when we check in on our financials once more. Edward Grant increasing his booking fee. Turning Network North America, 23,000 viewers, so a good result there. We've decided to put pay-per-view for our bigger events each month, and obviously made over $200,000 from each of them, just over $4,000 in ticket sales. So the month of July, off to a good start. A couple smaller shows ahead in Cape Cod, Massachusetts, and New York, New York. The town's so nice they named it twice before the end of the month. Probably won't be going through those events blow by blow as we have been recently, but wanted to at least talk through the first two main events of this month of July with you before we simmed forward a little bit. And we've covered a lot of ground in the month and a half or so since we last checked in. It's now September 1st. You can see our finances just continue to spike higher and higher. And actually, if I think about what we've been doing wrong over the last couple of months, and I'll talk through this a bit more deeply, but it's still kind of having a very conservative mentality around spending and not just taking advantage of the massive amounts of money that are now flowing through with us selling out larger facilities, and more importantly, having network television and pay-per-view contracts for our events. Couple of things that happened back on July 20th. Ansley Howard, one of our new women wrestlers, got injured until the beginning of January, so that clearly was not ideal. We ended up cutting our other two injured wrestlers, Corey McKee and Colby Tyler, who were both going to be out for extended periods of time, were only on pay-per-appearance contracts, and also were not particularly important wrestlers for the promotion. The impetus for us to do that was Colby Hendricks, who had been Colby Tyler's tag team partner, announced that he was leaving, and we didn't have an opportunity to match the contract. So rather than continue waiting around on Tyler and Makita healthy, knowing that Tyler and Hendricks would never be wrestling together with us, at least not for the next few years since Hendricks was leaving, just decided to move on from them. So we did add a couple of new wrestlers. Theodore Villarreal is a lower mid-card heel with us. Pretty good wrestling skill, not the most entertaining. The stamina is okay, not a ton of star power, but a younger guy, 27 years old, not that popular, that can wrestle in some matches for us, and hopefully we can help build him up over time. Skylar Trevino also brought on board to help replace the guys that we let go. Mid-card face, you can see he's 2-0 in his very early action of his career with us. And then we also reunited with a familiar face. Miriam Preston was with us a few years ago as one of our women wrestlers. With the fact that Howard is going to be injured for the rest of this year, wanted to add a third woman heel into the mix. And then once Howard is healthy, we'll have a somewhat larger women's wrestling contingent with 8 total wrestlers, 4 on each side of the ledger once Howard is back. So a little bit of the expansion there that probably need, or at least consider, in the women's ranks. I did mention, though, that we had lost Colby Hendricks, and unfortunately we're also going to lose Jordan Cunningham, who has been an important part of our tag team history, member of the Head Knockers, who are our most experienced tag team out there. And basically what I found is with the money spiking and with these TV contracts available, a lot of our wrestlers are now getting signed to written agreements from other promotions. And with the money going up so incredibly fast, I think we just need to be more aggressive in terms of signing people to long-term contracts. You can see some important wrestlers, Alani Hernandez, Keith Yates, and Kyle Howard have contracts expiring about a week from now. And we are going to negotiate with all of them because finance is in a great shape. Made over $800,000 in both July and August, even though our staff wages continue to increase. We have bumped up our production values here in the month of September, moving to indie licensed music, something that a year ago we thought was never going to be happening for us. That will increase worker popularity gains by 50%, be expensive for us, but makes it even more important for us to consider continuing to sign wrestlers to written contracts. So we'll be able to hopefully benefit from those popularity gains over time rather than have those wrestlers get more and more popular and then move on to other promotions. Merchandise sales still dominated in the month of August, obviously, by Ricky Babylon, but Garrett Carter, not Gary Carter, the old Hall of Fame catcher. Garrett Carter contributing a little bit. Table view, contract status, you can see obviously Ricky Babylon as the owner of the promotion has a written contract. Kason Hughes, the partner of the soon-to-depart Jordan Cunningham on the tag team side, also along with Juan Shepard and Garrett Carter. And we're going to start getting more and more aggressive. You can see Carter's making a lot of money, but Shepard and Hughes, less than $5,000 a month, and just a negligible pay-per-appearance fee that we negotiated with each of them. So even if we were to sign 10 or 15 wrestlers to contracts for $5,000 to $10,000 a month, we're looking about $100,000 roughly if we were to do something like that in terms of our finances. And with the fact that we've been making $800,000 a month for the last 3 months, even with the increased expenses associated with the increase in our music capabilities to the indie licensed music, still have just excess money that we need to spend. And I think particularly with that investment in the music, that's going to hopefully allow us to build up the popularity of these wrestlers quicker. As I said, we want to make sure that they're signed with us and contributing. Backstage morale still at an outstanding level. The storylines that we've been working on continue to move along at a decent pace, and no changes over the last month and a half to any of our title holders at this point. So won't go through a lot of detail reviewing all of those previous matches, but we're going to get ready for a big card, the Labor Day Bash, and we're also going to try to get some contracts signed with 3 relatively important wrestlers to us over the near term. Alani Hernandez has typically been our women's tag team and singles champion. She's been the singles champion the entire time and has been part of the women's tag team champions for much of the tenure of this 3W wrestling promotion. You can see she's looking for over $9,500 a month. Keith Yates looking for about $9,000 a month. And then Kyle Howard looking for about $5,000 a month. So we're going to offer them all a little bit less than that to try to save some money. But at this point, we're certainly capable of signing people to exclusive written contracts, and we're going to get more aggressive in doing that so we can avoid losing people like we have with Colby Hendricks and like we unfortunately will be with Jordan Cunningham in the not too distant future. And we have made contract offers to Alani Hernandez, Keith Yates, and Kyle Howard to hopefully keep all of them on board. I also had promised Anastasia Romero the main spot at an event. Probably not going to particularly help this Labor Day Bash score, but we're going to have the Women's Tag Team Championship as the final match of the day, the main event. Hopefully with the long Men's Tag Team Championship match before that, we'll still have enough momentum to get a good score for the overall card. Jordan Cunningham and Kason Hughes, the head knockers, in their final match before Jordan Cunningham leaves us. We're going to have Marvin McNeil knock out Jordan Cunningham so he can leave without a lot of momentum to wherever his career takes him going forward, since he's no longer, at least for the near term, going to be part of the 3W promotion. Obviously, the way these things work, a year, 2 years, 3 years from now, he could certainly potentially try to come back in glory. So the Labor Day Bash show, holding it here in New York, going to have potential attendance of about 4,500, going to be on pay-per-view as well. Strong entrance score for the introductions ahead of the Women's Tag Team Championship match. Mayhem, which previous used to be Xander Berry and Corey McKee. Corey McKee has left us, but Xander Berry retains the Mayhem name, now teaming up with the new addition Theodore Villarreal. Unfortunately for them, they lose to the Southern Gentlemen, Valentino Ballard and Edward Grant. Next match, Jaden Noble versus Kyle Howard. Jaden Noble with the victory. Pretty solid score of 64% on that match. The Head Knockers versus the M&M Boys, as scripted. Marvin McNeil knocks out Jordan Cunningham at the end of the match, as he'll be moving on to the next step in his career. Good singles match here. Ryan Mooney versus Keith Yates. Mentioned we're trying to sign Keith Yates for the medium term to a written contract, but Ryan Mooney, one of the strong heels who's joined the promotion over the last couple of years, gets the victory. The Dream Team defending their championship against the Dread Duo, Garrett Carter and Daniel Schwartz. Big bump in popularity for Julius Dyer. His star power and good looks certainly helped. Good match score. And who knows, perhaps even that independent music that we've now licensed helps him get a real nice bump coming out of the match. 77% score there, as expected. Everything that Ricky Babylon touches turns to gold. Final match of the day, the main event, Fire and Ice versus the Nasty Girls. Lonnie Hernandez, who we're hopefully signing to an extension in the near term, and Kirsten Holloway defend their title successfully as well. Big score for promotional video, trying to get some momentum for all of the storylines involved. Some decent 0.2 of a point popularity gains in North America for some of the key wrestlers promoted here. Overall score of 60%, gained 0.2 of a point in popularity, as we typically do. Move on to end the show, and we'll find out exactly what the attendance was and what we earned. 9 emails, so hoping that some of those are contracts being agreed to. Our promise to Theodore Villarreal for a longer match, good. Promise to Anastasia Romero for a main event, good. Promise to Alani Hernandez for a title match, good. And Alani Hernandez ready to accept the contract offer, $9,000 a month, $100 per appearance. We will go ahead and finalize the contract with her. Keith Yates, $8,000 a month and $100 per appearance. He agreed to that, so we're going to finalize that contract as well. And last but not least, Kyle Howard, $100 per appearance, $4,500 a month, $4,000 signing bonus, and he's accepted that as well. So we'll finalize those contracts. Over $231,000 in pay-per-view income with over 24,000 viewers there. 4,156 tickets sold, 145,000 plus in ticket sales. Obviously, we want to continue to have fans come in person, but the pay-per-view events are going to be a more significant driver, it seems, of our revenues going forward. Kirsten Holloway would like to work with Emma Banks. We can definitely set that up. And with that, those contract expirations for Hernandez, Yates, and Howard are more formalities at this point. Unfortunately, we will be losing Jordan Cunningham, but Yates, Hernandez, and Howard signed those exclusive contracts. We've got our big 3W Live event 10 days away, and then a couple of smaller shows in Pittsburgh and Rochester before we get to the end of the month. And we've simmed ahead to the main event for this month of September, 3W Live. Big show here. The featured match is going to be the Men's Championship. Ricky Babylon taking on Ryan Mooney. Also a big cage match between the Demolition Squad and the Good Guys. Several other matches throughout the event. Atmosphere backstage remains great. Let's get this party started. Emma Banks and Kirsten Holloway. Kirsten Holloway had said she wanted to work with Emma Banks, so we gave the two of them a match. Not a particularly strong start to the event, but hoping that most of the rest of the events will be better scores. Skylar Trevino with a victory over Juan Shepard. Skylar Trevino, who joined us not all that long ago, just raised his booking fee to $250 a show from $200 a show, but we did get very high match quality, just not a huge crowd reaction given that they aren't two of the more popular wrestlers in the promotion yet. The Golden Warriors, Jaden Noble and Bowen White, another very high-quality match, get a victory over the Bash Brothers, Kyle Howard and Rodrigo Schmidt. Marvin McNeil and Kaysen Hughes, 57% final score. McNeil gets the victory, not the most exciting match there. Julius Dyer versus Daniel Schwartz. We've got some hopes for this one. Tried to have some comedy involved between the two of them. They both got good entertainment skills, and that did go over well. 3-star match quality, a pretty good score. Big tag team cage match, the Demolition Squad versus the Good Guys. Elias David and Malcolm McKnight get the victory. Good score there and another high match quality. And last but certainly not least, Ricky Babylon facing off against Ryan Mooney for the championship. We've got these two, given their good wrestling skills, trying to steal the show tonight. Hopefully we'll get a big match quality, good crowd reaction, and a big final score out of this one. And ended up with 4-star match quality. I think that's as high as we've ever gotten. Ricky Babylon retains the championship by aiming to steal the show. They really upped their game in ring. So a good performance there. Boost for Babylon. Mooney with a little step back given the loss. But I believe that is the first time we've gotten to 4-star match quality. So we continue to make consistent progress here. Another video at the end of the show to highlight the storylines we're going to keep going over the near to medium term. Could have topped out with a 74 score there, but we're capped at 60%. Still definitely a good solid result for the wild world of wrestling. Checking in on the mail, kept the promise to Kirsten Holloway for the match, about $230,000 in pay-per-view income, and we sold 4,700 tickets, so a good reaction there. Smaller shows in Pittsburgh and Rochester coming up before the end of the month and the end of this episode. And we had 4 additional contracts set to expire in October that we've now extended. The most significant is Elias David. I know this has been a recommendation of viewers, and glad to finally get it done. Signed a 3-year contract extension with him, $25,000 a month and a $25,000 signing bonus, an additional $500 per appearance, and he's actually going to get a 5% share of any merchandise revenue. But with that 3-year contract, they anticipate trying to build around Elias David for the medium term, which will be positive. Josue Melton, only a 1-year extension. You can see $4,000 a month. Not one of the more important wrestlers in the program right now. But when we try to find more talented wrestlers who also don't have horrible personalities, the pool of potential additions is not that deep right now. So the thought is we'll keep Melton around for at least the next year, make a short-term commitment, but maybe not a long-term commitment. Our other masked wrestler, Rodrigo Schmidt, is a bit more talented than Melton and was looking for less money. So we signed him to a 3-year extension, likely to remain kind of a mid-card heel for us, but certainly the type of talent that we can definitely afford to have at this point. And last but not least, Nolan Bryant, who has a deal with us to work blanking on the role, backstage staff. And he's 78 years old. We signed him to a 3-year extension, $2,500 per month. He's very good at coordinating shows, very good at keeping things peaceful backstage. Based on our previous experience with Mustafa Johnston, it's not inconceivable that Nolan Bryant may, unfortunately, fictionally pass away before the end of this contract, but we'd like to keep him involved with us for as long as he's willing to be part of the promotion at this point. And some potentially significant news for the women's division in our matches here in Pittsburgh. The featured match of the day was the 3W Women's Championship. Lonnie Hernandez did retain the title over Isabella Baxter, but she was injured. So it will be interesting to see what the results of that are. End the show and put up a 59% score. We did have a couple of matches that weren't all that great, so we didn't even get to our 60% max out. Only 5 matches on this show, and we gave Ricky Babylon the day off. He'll be back for our event in Rochester in the not-too-distant future. 24,000 viewers, so good income on Fightgate pay-per-view, and we did sell out the smaller 2,500 arena for that smaller show. Medical, Hernandez quad injury. She's going to be out just about 2 months, so not the end of the world. And you'll remember we did sign her to a written contract not that long ago. So although we've been somewhat heartless, cutting ties with wrestlers who we only had pay-per-appearance contracts with, that won't be happening with Alani Hernandez. And good results from the final show of the month in Rochester. Sold pay-per-view to over 25,000 viewers. Sellout with 2,500. Ricky Babylon retained his title against Elias David. But new feature of the game as we continue to grow, promotional war reports. APW, one of the prime promotions in the game, which given our growth, apparently we are now competing with. When fans compare the promotions, they're definitively seen as better than us, which hurts our popularity. When we compare the level of violence and danger in the promotion style, we are the winner. And when we also look at the best-looking roster, the top 5 workers when sorted by looks, we are the winner there. Unfortunately, we're the loser in everything else. Production quality, show quality, star quality, wrestling skill, entertainment, as well as popularity. So ultimately, they beat us 6 categories to 2. Similarly, we're also evaluated versus GCW, and we are 7-1 losers there. Best looking roster is the only area where we are better. So makes me think even more that we need to maybe spend some time here when we get to the month of October tomorrow and finish up this episode, looking for some more high-quality wrestlers to bring on board, since it's only looking at the top 5 wrestlers. Something if we start getting some more expensive and really good people on board can help us with popularity. We're likely to linger for some time behind the others, but people with entertainment, people with star quality, we're not that far off with both promotions. So it gives us something else interesting to shoot for as we try to keep growing the wild world of wrestling. GCW and APW, for that matter, are 2 very prominent promotions. APW is the primary promotion in North America. Public Image 80, you can see, very popular, and they've got over $1 billion in terms of their finances. And GCW, Global Championship Wrestling, a little more of a challenging situation as far as their finances, but their public image remains outstanding at this point. So hopefully we can continue trying to move up in the rankings relative to the other wrestling promotions that are around. And our final check-in before the end of the month, you can see we've got a number of wrestlers under written contract now, have definitely expanded that out. And we do also have the likes of Rodrigo Schmidt, Nolan Bryant, and others who will hopefully be signing the official contracts that we've made to them, as their contracts are set to expire relatively soon. So we'll be expanding that list, as well as our monthly payments as far as guaranteed contracts in the very near future. Backstage morale remains outstanding, trying to look for some problematic relationships. Isabella Baxter and Kason Hughes have some tension. Emma Banks and Alani Hernandez have never really gotten along. Those are 2 of the more significant ones. Edward Grant and Emma Banks also, but with the 100 morale, no real need to push anything at this point. The new King of the Ring 77 heat. We Want Your Belt 89 heat. 66 heat on Tag Team Turmoil. That may be one that we look to end, given that Alani Hernandez is going to be hurt for close to the next 2 months. And 71 heat on the Welcome to 3W promotion at this point. Last, but certainly not least, take a quick look at our finances, and still made $700,000 over the course of the month, even though our staff wages increased significantly and our production values increased significantly. That is going to encourage me to bump production up another notch where we can. We are going to increase our pyrotechnics budget, spending $100,000 a month. That'll allow the max show score to go up to 65%, which hopefully will allow us to continue closing the gap a little bit on those major promotions that we are chasing after. When we think about future moves, need $500,000 a month for writers, $750,000 a month to get production or pyrotechnics up to a ridiculous budget, $1 million a month for better staging and lighting. Camera quality is not too far off. That could allow us to increase the show score by another 5%. Probably will look to do that a month from now, but I don't want to push things too fast, too quick, since we are going to be signing some more big contracts going forward. Major licensed music is the next step for us, but that's $1.5 million a month. We're still a ways off for that. And even increasing our office space at $500,000 a month may be a little bit too much too soon for us. Merchandise, still all about Ricky Babylon and Garrett Carter, but now that we have started signing some other wrestlers to guaranteed contracts, hopefully the North American popularity of others will help. Looks like Keith Yates, with his 31 popularity among the people who have written contracts, is third on the list right now, so far behind Babylon and Carter. But Elias David will be signed before the end of this month, and he's got pretty solid popularity, so would expect that once he has officially signed on the dotted line when his PPA contract has expired, hopefully we'll begin selling some merch associated with Elias David as well. So the progress definitely continues. The finances moving higher and higher. $4.6 million in the bank. When we look at our popularity closing in on 45 at this point, back office limits us to 60, marketing limits us to 80. So still plenty of potential for growth for the wild world of wrestling. And next time around, we'll see if we can end 2024 strong. Until then, thanks so much for watching, and hope you have a great day.